Our guest today is Sally Curley, an investor relations powerhouse. She's the founder and CEO of Curley Global, her own consulting firm. She spent a decade at Cardinal Health. She was in-house at Genzyme. She's won all sorts of IR awards over the years. I'm Brock Romanek, today on Zippy Point. So Sally, how does anyone keep up with anything anymore? But particularly in this area, ESG just seems to be moving so fast. There's so many sources. And I'm not just talking about the rating services. It's just even the investor pronouncements. There just seems to be so much content. So when you're an expert in this field, how do you keep up?
It's challenging. It's challenging. Just information overload is quite an issue. It was even before ESG became a bit more mainstream. I actually take Sunday to do nothing but reading, and I've gotten to a point where I can scan for there are certain sources that I think are excellent. And so I scan for those sources because I know that, yes, once in a while I may miss something, but I'll probably be getting 95+% of the news, and then I'll recap, and catch up the other 5% through another publication down the road. So it's tempting to try to keep up with everything and be perfect and boil the ocean, but it's just not possible. And once you kind of let go, we were talking about mindfulness a minute ago. Once you realize you have to let go of that a little bit, and you keep up with as much as you possibly can, and the things that are pertinent, you're able to filter that out. But I use my Sundays to read through. It's probably about, I would say, between 100 and 150 research, surveys, articles, etc. a week. So it is a lot, but thankfully I've gotten proficient at being able to screen through and understand which ones are relevant. And I'm also looking too for my client base right now. So which ones are relevant for my client base. The ones that aren't relevant, I put to the side and I read it another time. But that's how I screen for it. I have ongoing conversations with the heads of responsible investing and corporate governance heads at the investment institutions, either through one-on-one conversations, or we may all be on a group webinar together, or it may be in concert with participating in a client call with them, having introduced the client. And that's a wonderful way also to keep track of trends on the investor side, is just this constant contact. And so there's a few of us that actually have similar businesses, are ESG consultants, that make a point of talking to each other about once a month, once every couple of months, to just share, hey, what are you seeing in terms of trends? I'm hearing this, what are you hearing? And that's been a really nice network of folks, and very collegial, which is also very nice. And it benefits all of our clients, which is great.
Sort of like book group.
Sort of like book group. Sort of like book group.
So if someone is just starting out with E&S, what would be the 3 resources that you would recommend that they look at for news?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend that they use the Harvard Law School blog, the Forum on Corporate Governance, because quite a few of the articles, I've never done an exact measurement, but I'm going to bet that more than half of those articles are focused on ESG. And or written and posted by the State Streets, BlackRocks, Vanguards of the world. Vanguard posted one this morning, actually, on the Harvard Law School blog. So you can sign up for that. It's free. You as a governance professional, as an attorney, I'm sure, read that religiously, as do I. But it is a wonderful, wonderful resource. So that's the first one. NERI, I have to say, the National Investor Relations Institute, if you are a CFO, IR officer, member of NERI, they have a great ESG website, as does the Society for Corporate Governance. I actually sit on their sustainability committee that's chaired by Yafit Cohen of the Travelers Companies. She does a great job chairing that committee. There's a lot of information that both NERI and the Society, if you're a member, actually post there. And I would just have a shout out, because I know you're talking to my writing partner at some point. Carol Nolan Drake and I actually co-wrote and published with the Society the ESG implementation guide, Getting Started. So that's available if you're a Society member. and or a client of mine and Carol's, but it's available if you're a society member. So good reason to sign up for the society.
And for those newbies, what about sample sustainability reports that companies put out, or other good examples of what companies are doing? What would you recommend there?
Yeah. You know, the Corporate Secretary magazine, which is IR and Corporate Secretary magazine, same publication group, they actually issue corporate governance awards on an annual basis. And one of the categories is ESG programs. And in that you can find, so I believe AT&T won in the 2019 category. The 2020 category hasn't yet been awarded, but that is a wonderful resource to be able to find all of the companies that were nominated for a best ESG program, which includes the sustainability report. The other resource, so Corporate Secretary Magazine, IR Magazine, the other resource is actually a simple Google search will yield quite a few examples of corporate sustainability reports. If you're looking for proxy CDNA disclosures on ESG, I want to give a shout out to Donnelly Financial. They've just published their 8th annual interactive proxy guide and did a webinar yesterday. They did an excellent job. That is free download for you. And it is an interactive guide. I think it's over 300 pages, but it goes through by category and shows you, here's the board's, some of the interesting representations of a board skill set matrix. Here are some interesting representations of an executive summary at the beginning of the proxy, ESG sections, et cetera. So that also is just a wonderful resource for information.
Yeah, that DFIN guide is awesome. It's all kinds of samples, disclosures, both for proxies and for sustainability reports. And like you said, the report that you and Carol wrote for the society
Absolutely.
is wonderful. You're such a clear communicator. If you're a newbie out there, you definitely want to get a copy of that and read it. And it's an easy read. It makes it simple and easy to understand.
Thank you. We tried.
Very complex area.
We tried our best, and shout out to the society for their input. There were quite a few folks at the society that gave wonderful input, which we of course incorporated. So thank you.
And thank you, Sally.